What is going on, YouTube? I am Lamont at large. Today I am at the Pleasant Valley Memorial Park Cemetery here in Fairfax, Virginia, with a question to ask: who was the Christmas tree lady? Let's talk about it. December 18th, 1996 definitely was no ordinary day here at this cemetery. At around 9 a.m., one of the groundskeepers, starting his day off, noticed that there was somebody lying in the Babyland section over yonder of the cemetery. He probably thought it was a homeless person, so he goes up to them and he says, "Hey, you got to get up." No response. He looks a little bit closer. This doesn't look good. Immediately he calls the paramedics. Paramedics come out. They take vitals. No pulse. Not breathing. It's a wrap for this person. She had already been dead for quite some time. However, they did note that she was still warm to the touch when they got there. Immediately they called the police and homicide detectives come out to process the scene. What they seen was a white woman that appeared to be maybe early mid-50s, early mid-60s, possibly even older than that. She had on a blue Eddie Bauer jacket. She had blue slacks on. She had a 14-karat gold ring with 4 jaded stones on it. She had clip-on earrings. She had a medical alert bracelet that said no code, no DNR, no penicillin. She was lying on a plastic sheet on the ground, and next to her was an 8-inch Christmas tree. She also had a gold Guess watch, a pink fanny pack, and she had a green knapsack. And in the knapsack, amongst other things, were a couple of comedy albums, one by Monty Python, the other by Jeff Foxworthy. And in her fanny pack were 2 notes with a $50 bill in each envelope. One was addressed to the coroner, one was addressed to this very cemetery. Her notes were not handwritten, they were typed. And they said,
"Deceased by own hand. Prefer no autopsy. Please order cremation with funds provided. Thank you. Jane Doe." Now I lay me down to sleep, soon to drift to the eternal deep. And though I die and shall not wake, sleep sweeter will be than this life I forsake.
So amongst the other items that was present with her was a metal flask that appeared to be brandy that was in it. So they go ahead and they take her to the medical examiner's office. Now, I do believe that there was no autopsy done because normally most counties and jurisdictions, when you have that issue of somebody taking their own lives and it's obviously apparent that they did, no autopsy is going to be done, especially if it's a place that's already swamped with other matters. And here in Fairfax, I'm going to imagine that they have their hands busy with other things, but they did draw blood from her, and there was Valium in her system along with her BAC, blood alcohol content, being about 0.14. So they measured her. She was about 5 feet tall. She weighed about 157 pounds. She had an 8-inch scar on her abdomen, possibly from a cesarean section, but they were not sure. Detectives said that from what it appeared, this lady was not a drifter. By all means, she was not homeless. She had jewelry on her. And on top of that, the clothes that she was wearing at the time appeared to be clothes that you would buy at a department store like Saks Fifth Avenue or something along that nature. One of the more odd and unusual cases, to say the least. Now, it's been about 25 years now that she has been unidentified. And when I read this story, obviously I had some reservations about doing it because obviously she went to a lot of trouble to remain anonymous. She had no ID, of course, on her, nothing with her name on it, no receipts. There is absolutely nothing that could tell detectives who this woman was. I mean, they don't even know nearly how old she is. She could be 50, she could be 70. Now, of course, they've had pictures of what she looked like in life. 25 years, nobody's contacted her. Or excuse me, not contacted her, but contacted detectives to say who she is or who she was. Now, looking at her, that could be my mom, that could be your mom, and you got to think, what if that were our parent? What if that were our sister? What if that were our daughter? Would we not want to know what happened to her? I mean, you have people out there in this world that had a best friend, and she was their confidant, and she went to shows, she went to dinner, and then all of a sudden they disappeared. Nobody's coming forward, right? So I'm going to guess that this is just going to be one of those cases that never gets solved. Obviously, like I said, she didn't want to be identified, and she went to great lengths to make sure that they were not going to be able to identify her. And for all we know, she could have lived in Oregon and flew out here to do this, which is what I personally suspect. I don't believe she's from this area. I believe she's from somewhere else way far away. And honestly, I'll tell you the truth. Here's another thing. We don't even know if she's an American. She could have came from Canada. She could have came from Ireland. We don't know. She did have red hair. This is just one of those baffling cases. This is the Babyland section. This is where she was found dead, and she was not lying next to any particular grave. For instance, she could have put her head on that grave over there, and then it could have gave detectives clues on her identity. Well, all these years, 25 years, somebody's best friend, somebody's sister, somebody's mom just disappeared and nobody's saying anything. It leads me to personally believe if this woman went to such great lengths to hide her identity, if you're determined to end it all, and I always say, some people, you're just not going to stop them from doing that. Unfortunately, you're just not going to be able to stop them. She could have just came from a foreign country. She could have came from Russia. We don't know. If anybody out there has any information on this woman's identity, please contact the Fairfax Police Department. Their number 703-691-2131. 703-691-2131. I am Lamont at Large. I will see you on the next vlog. Be good, y'all. Peace out.